Sorry, I was just trying to find out if I need to also get on the Microsoft Teams or if you guys can all be virtual and you'll see me. So this is what I'll look like. And then Brittany will be able to take roll call, just so everybody knows. Again, I think this will go pretty fast. We're just waiting for everyone to jump on to make sure we have quorum. Hi, everyone. We're just waiting. I know that Melissa said she was going to join, and if Melissa comes on, then we will be at quorum. So I'm just waiting for, I mean, technically I could vote, but I'd prefer that this was just the board of directors at this time. Excellent. So everyone is here, or at least we have quorum. I do think that we might have one other person. Kaylin, I think, is also joining us today, so we might have him come in. So with that, Landon, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, can you hear me? Perfect. All right. Item 101 is going to be the call to order for this virtual hybrid meeting of the Education Alliance Board of Directors. We have people in the Center Administrative Building, and then a lot of us here on Microsoft Teams. The time right now is 4:03. And with that, I bang the virtual gavel. Item 102, roll call. For that, we'll turn things over to Julia. Julia?
Julia, I can do it if you don't have the list with you. This is Brittany. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Okay. Michelle Anderson, that is a no. Brian Bosma,
Here.
Christine Gallagher,
Here.
Melissa Dedman,
Here.
Kaylin Evans, don't see him. Look in the chat and you'll see why Lauren is not here. Victoria Mason,
Here.
Landon Miller, Chris Morgan,
Here.
Manny Ortiz, I don't see him. Also refer to the chat for Ralph's presence. Julia Rogers, Dave
Here.
Chantal,
Sorry, my camera's not working.
No worries. Dave Shintani? No. And David Taylor.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Small group, but I believe we have quorum. Is that correct, Sarah?
Yes, we do have quorum.
All right. With that, we'll move over to public comment. Brittany, is there any public comment right now?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. All right. Item 201. We'll do a welcome from our executive director, Sarah Gobbs-Hill, and myself, the president. Want to thank everyone real quickly for hopping on a Monday to knock this guy out real quick. So, Sarah, I'll turn it over to you.
Excellent. So I just wanted to say again, welcome and thank you guys so much for coming today. We had to do this again in short notice, and I had mentioned it at the last board meeting, but we just wanted to make sure we went through all the internal checks before we went ahead and approved the agreement, which is why we had to have and schedule this meeting in such short turnaround. So we really appreciate you making it today, and I'm sure you could tell I was very excited when Brian jumped on because I wasn't quite sure if he was attending. So again, just really happy that everybody can make it. Before we dive in, we did want to bring your attention to Miss Isla, who is in the chat, if you can see. Ralph and Lauren welcomed a little baby girl into the world last week. Most of you guys are on social media, so you probably know. I just found out today, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. But if you haven't had a chance to let them know or give them a congrats, I think they are just over the moon. So with that, that's the welcome.
Great. That's awesome. Congrats to Ralph and Lauren. Number 202, approval of the minutes from our April 21st, 2025 meeting. Do we have a motion and a second?
Move to approve.
All right, Chris with the motion and someone to second.
I'll second.
All right, Victoria, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? No. All right, 202, the approval of the minutes has passed. With that, we'll go over to 203. This is presentation for possible action to approve the agreement with the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada to manage fund for Education Alliance's campaign to fight chronic absenteeism. Sarah.
Yes. So in your packet, I've included the agreement from the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada. And I just wanted to go over, why I believe it to be such a good decision for us to go with the Community Foundation. And so I did email a number of these same points, so I'm just going to bring them up here so that if anybody has any questions or discussion, we can talk about it. But this is a model that has previously been used. This is what the county did when they did the CARES Campus fundraising campaign. And so I believe it to be one that donors are familiar with and will make it easier for organizations or funders that already have donor advised funds at the Community Foundation to be able to contribute to. I do also believe that it's a good one because it's a collaborative effort. It does streamline a little bit of the process about how things are coming in. So whether or not it's strengthen our communities who writes the grant or the proposal, or Education Alliance whose new individual donor wants to support this, or communities in school, there's an ability to be able to pool that funding that will then go to the Washoe County School District for the identified needs. We know this, but the Community Foundation has a very good reputation with a wide range of funders in our community. And so I think that's a real plus, the fact that they want to work with us on this. I do think that they have a more wide known reputation than the Education Alliance. And as we've been talking about, this organization has really been transitioning from community engagement more into the fundraising space. And a lot of people don't necessarily recognize Education Alliance as the place to donate or contribute philanthropic support if they want to help education in the region. And then finally, it allows us to move forward with some really important modernization of our fund management, which we've talked about, but without without complicating it with a number of contributions. And again, I think that that will be really great for the work that we're doing. I did want to point out that they will be taking a percentage of the funds that we solicit. So knowing that those funds will go into those accounts, and they do take a management fund. Unlike us, their accounts are able to bear interest, which is, I think, a real benefit as well. So that should be noted. I did have a board member ask the question of whether or not we needed to make sure that we would be paying for the management of these funds, and that's not exactly how it works. They'll take the funding from the contributions that are in there. So we'll make sure as we're going forward, and again, with new identified donors, that they are aware that there is a management fee that will be part of this, but we'll make sure we communicate that out as we're going, so that there won't ever actually be like us, necessarily paying that fee, which I think is important for those of you, for everyone who's seen our finances. And then again, there will be the impetus for us to make sure that our timing, or that our reporting is timely and accurate, and we're getting the information back to those who are contributing. I think that's a factor as well. And the documentation process about the transferring of funds. So again, these funds will be Education Alliance, they'll be at the Community Foundation, but then when it's time to utilize the funds for chronic absenteeism, they will come in by route of the Washoe County School District Grants Department, which is currently the same method that we use to any funds we bring in. If we transfer in, we tell them, hey, these are the funds we raised, this is what the donor intent was, here's any limitations, and then we build out a budget for them. And so that will be the exact same process for these identified pieces. And again, that's chronic absenteeism, middle school, and then the support of the family resource centers over the next 3 years. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and see if anyone has questions.
And can you talk a little bit about the percentage that they are planning to charge for this service?
Yes, it's 1% unless we are able to get 2.5 million in the account right out of the gate, and it will drop down to 0.5%.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's an incredibly fair ask. I mean, considering all the work that they do and what they're capable of doing. In my role at the City of Reno, we work with the Community Foundation quite frequently, and for an entire 1%, that's really unheard of, I think. And then secondly, they do a great job with managing the funds. They're very attentive. They're very timely. They are incredibly resourceful, and in my limited experience working with them, even though there is that fee associated with it, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. And it's also no different than when you go to buy something online and you have to pay 3% to make some type of donation or whatever. I mean, it all is kind of the same thing in my head. So thank you for that explanation, Sarah, and I'll see if anyone else has questions.
Question, Len, and just, I think it probably does make sense. We just need to keep our eye on it, and probably do a review after 6 months and again after a year, just to make sure we understand how this is affecting our funding, both from revenue side as well as from the fees.
Yeah, Chris, you make a really good point. And for the finance review team, and not that won't also come out to the board, but that would be part of our fund management. So everybody could see just where we are, where does the balance lie with the Community Foundation, our external bank account, and then what's managed in the district. So just so everyone knows, we will keep that transparency all the way through.
All right. Well, it doesn't sound like there's any more discussion or comments. So with that, we'll need a motion and a second to approve the agreement with the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada for the purposes here within. So with that, we'll need a motion and a second.
I can motion.
All right, Julia with the motion, and I will make the second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it looks like that one has passed. Thank you, everybody. We'll go over to 301 real quickly. Public comment. Brittany, any public comment at this time?
None at this time, but I do think Sarah wants to step back real quick.
I think, Julie, you might have to elaborate on the motion you're making. So if you want to go back to the agenda language, just make sure, because we
Yes.
want to make sure.
That's what I
that
was
would be
thinking.
perfect.
Okay.
We'll do it round two.
I make the motion to approve the agreement with the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada to manage funds for Education Alliance campaign to combat chronic absenteeism.
All right, and I will second that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Now it passes. Now we're extra careful. Thank you for that catch, Brittany. We'll go back over to 301. Public comment. Is there any public comment right now?
Still none.
None. All right. And then with that, we'll go over to 302, announcement of the next meeting, which looks like will be on June 23rd, 2025. I want to thank everyone for hopping on this for a quick 10 minutes on a busy Monday. And hopefully we're good stewards of your time. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
You. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Good to see you.